Good morning, all of you. Today we will start the new topic congestive heart failure. Congestive heart failure is also called as heart failure or cardiac failure. Is also called as CHF. Heart failure is defined as the inefficiency of the heart to pump sufficient amount of oxygenated blood to the organs to meet the metabolic demands and to collect the blood from the organ. Congestive heart failure is defined as the chronic progressive condition that affects the pumping power of heart muscle. In this diagram, we'll see the normal heart and damaged heart or heart failure. In normal heart, left and right ventricles are the normals. But in second diagram, the left ventricle are expanded and damaged. That's why blood is pumped at reduced volume. In next slide, we will see the classification of congestive heart failure. Congestive heart failure is based on two types of classes. First is amount of cardiac output and second is position of heart failure. In that first amount of cardiac output, there are also include two subclasses. First is low cardiac output failure and second is high cardiac output failure. In second major class, position of heart failure, in that include two subclasses, left side cardiac failure and right side cardiac failure. We will see based on amount of cardiac output. First is low cardiac output failure. It is most common congestive heart failure. The metabolic demand of body organ are normal within a limits, but the heart fails to pump sufficient amount of oxygenated blood to the organ of the body. The primary causes of low cardiac output failure is the ventricular systolic dysfunction and ventricular diastolic dysfunction. We all about know that what is systolic and what is diastolic. The ventricular systolic dysfunction, myocardial infarction weakens the muscle of ventricles and make them insufficient to pump the required volume of blood. Thus, result in low cardiac output and low ejection fraction. Ventricular diastolic dysfunction, hypertrophy is responsible for the stiffening of heart muscle. The stiffened muscle of the ventricles fails to relax during diastolic and thus cannot collect sufficient amount of blood. These ultimately result in low cardiac output. Next class is high cardiac output failure. It occurs very rarely. Hyperthyroidism, anemia, arteriovenous shunt enhance the metabolic demand of the body for myocardial oxygen, which cannot be met even the increased pumping action of the heart. We'll see what is the difference between low cardiac output failure and high cardiac output failure. In low cardiac output failure occurs most frequently. In high cardiac output failure it occurs very rarely. In low cardiac output failure, metabolic demands of body for oxygen are normal and within limits. In high cardiac output failure, metabolic demands of body for oxygen is very high. In low cardiac output failure, myocardial fraction is prominent factor leading to failure of systolic and diastolic function of the ventricles, ultimately result in low cardiac output failure. In high cardiac output failure, hyperthyroidism, anemia, arteriovenous shunt causes high cardiac output failure. In next slide, second major class is position of heart failure. The failure of either right side or left side of heart to pump the blood leads to the failure of other side and ultimately result in the failure of both sides of the heart. First, left side cardiac failure. The failure of left ventricle to pump the entire blood present in it during systole result in retention of some amount of blood after every systole. Thus, blood is accumulated in left ventricle after few systole of the heart. The left ventricle fails to accept the blood from auricles and lungs, thus the uncollected blood due to backup pressure remains in the lungs, resulting in pulmonary edema. Second class is right side cardiac failure. The failure of right ventricle to pump the entire blood present in it during systole result in retention of some amount of blood after every systole. Thus, blood is accumulated in right ventricle after few systoles. The left ventricle fails to accept the blood from peripheral organs. Now we'll see what is the difference between left side cardiac failure and right side cardiac failure. In left side cardiac failure is the result of right side cardiac failure. Right side cardiac failure is the result of left side cardiac failure. In left side cardiac failure, inefficient pumping action of left ventricle is responsible for the accumulation of blood in the ventricles. In right side cardiac failure, inefficient pumping action of right ventricles is responsible for the accumulation of blood in right ventricle. In left side cardiac failure, left ventricle fails to accept or collect the blood from lungs due to back pressure. In right side cardiac failure, right ventricle fails to accept or collect the blood from peripheral organ. Pulmonary edema or pulmonary congestion is the final result in left side cardiac failure. Peripheral generalized edema is the final result in right side cardiac failure. In next slide, we'll see which drug are used in the congestive heart failure. There are the various drugs are used in congestive heart failure. We'll see one by one. First is cardiotonic drugs. In cardiotonic drugs, we include cardiac glycoside. Cardiac glycoside are present in the digitalis plant and it is the source of digitalis purpurea. Example include in digoxin, digitoxin, lanetoside, coabin. Second class is vasodilators. In vasodilators, there are the various subclasses. First is angiotensin converting enzyme first. Example is captopril, enalapril and lisinopril. Second class is angiotensin receptor antagonist. Example is losartan. Third class is nitrovasodilators. Example is sodium nitroprusside, glyceryl nitrate, isosorbide dinitrate. Next class is direct vasodilators. Example is hydralazine and nicorandil. Next class is calcium channel blockers. Example is nifedipine and amlodipine. Next class is phosphodiesterase third inhibitor. Example is amironan, milironan. Third major class is adrenergic receptor antagonist. Example is prazosin, it is a alpha 1 blocker, and second example is phentolamine, it is a alpha 1 and also alpha 2 blockers. Next major class is beta 1 receptor antagonist. Example is dobutamine, and next major class is diuretics. Diuretics are also very useful in congestive heart failure. Example is hydrochlorothiazide, furosemide and amilorides. Okay, we'll stop here.